드디어 오늘 서밋의 마지막 발표만을 남겨두고 있는데요. 마지막 발표 주제는 The Next Frontier of On-Chain Finance입니다. 이 온체인 금융이 만들어갈 새로운 변화와 글로벌 시장의 미래를 솔라나 컴퍼니의 체어맨이자 CEO이신 조셉 치께서 전해주시겠습니다. 무대로 모시겠습니다. 여러분 큰 박수 보내주시기 바랍니다.
Okay. Good morning. Very last session of the day. I'm hoping I'm speaking louder to wake everyone up. I could see that even my colleagues was falling asleep. Chris is a very experienced in blockchain, RWA, DEX. I guess, one of the things that I've observed over the last 12 months is that you see a lot more people that are wearing suits and ties showing up for blockchain and crypto summits. And in the past, when I dress like this, people look at me, it's like, you don't belong to the crypto community. I'm Joseph Chee. I'm chairman and CEO of Solana Company. And let me make a bit of a short introduction of myself, and then I'll share with you hopefully something more exciting. Now that we're a US-listed company, this is required. I'm not sure how much Chris showed before, but I guess I got to flip it for like 10 seconds. Okay. I'm a Malaysian, and I was a banker for 21 years, a long time. I started in New York with Solomon, Citi, and then I spent 17 years in UBS. I ran the investment banking business across APAC for UBS for many years before I started my own company called Summer Capital. I just want to give you a bit of background. I'm one of those TradFi traditional finance people who actually got interested in blockchain technology. I like crypto. I switched over. And Summer Capital was founded in 2017. It's licensed by Hong Kong and a few other jurisdictions. And it's definitely the earliest licensed fund management company that started investing in blockchain. We started with Bitmain. We built a bank called Amina Bank in Switzerland. It's one of the two crypto banks globally. And then we invested a large chunk in equity, less in token. I didn't understand all these NFTs, ICOs. It's just not my thing. But I believe in the technology. And we started moving into a few other companies. For example, we are proud shareholders of Upbit. And we are also a first-round lead investor for HashKey, got listed in Hong Kong last year, the largest onshore exchange. And then, I guess, over time, invested a lot more. And at some point, I convinced by all the young people in my group to start investing in token, which turned out to be disasters. And then the last thing that we did, one of the largest, most concentrated effort is to invest into Solana. Solana has been a key client of Amina Bank, which is Zug. Zug is the house to a lot of the headquarters of a lot of foundations globally. And a lot of them are the clients of the bank. And that's why we got interested in Solana. Obviously, I live in Hong Kong, and I have a lot of Chinese friends. A lot of Ethereum OGs were Chinese. So I was more exposed to Ethereum a lot more in the beginning than Solana. But when I found out about Solana, and then based on my understanding of Ethereum and Solana, when I wanted to build a DAT last year, I chose Solana. And I'll tell you why. Before I get to it, today is talk about next gen, right? Finance on chain, right? And talking about digital asset. And if this was a year and a half ago, I think the whole room would be completely full. Most of these people that are supposed to be in this room are probably out there in some sort of AI conference or looking at semiconductor or trying to find a job at SK Hynix. But despite what's going on in the market, people are paying less attention to crypto, this is happening. Last year, the volume of stablecoins is 33 trillion, quietly, right? And this is growing. All the fundamentals, a lot of numbers that you should be paying attention to are growing. Since Trump, there's a lot of things you could say about Mr. Trump, President Trump, how he behaves and everything, but all the crypto people should be grateful to him. He brought blockchain technology and crypto from bottom of the table to the top of the table and said, this is the infrastructure for financial services. And then we should enable it. And all the SEC, lawmakers around the world, different, around the US, different states, they're all moving forward. All the major banks, asset managers are going 120 miles an hour, getting things, enabling blockchain, putting things onto the chain, different assets, building their own chain, using blockchain technology to save costs, right? And then I guess coupled with AI, they have a lot of major plans in the future. It's a lot of technology being launched. It's, again, not a lot of people are paying attention to it, but which is good because one of the things I always tell all the entrepreneurs that we funded as a VC fund out of Summer Capital is that I think the crypto kids got rich too quickly. They made too much money by selling tokens, and then they pay attention to the token prices too much instead of building their businesses. It's good that we have a bit of lull, no one's paying attention, a lot of money is chasing after you. Go build real businesses with real use cases. Crypto is a difficult, despite all the crypto native people telling me, Joe, this is so simple. And we started looking at it early 2018. I went to the first crypto conference and started learning from there. And at that time, I think I still remember the first crypto conference. It was like this guy with a ponytail standing in the middle of the stage with like leather shoes, leather vest, and say, "We hate the government, we hate banks," right? That was 2017-18, and I was trying very hard to learn. Now it's 8 years in. It's still not easy. It's still a lot of things I don't understand, right? I'm telling you, the biggest problem of this technology is that it's very different from most things in this world. For most people to understand, for your mom and pop, your moms, your dad to understand, for regulators to understand, for old people, I think, like for anyone older than 40 to understand, it's very hard. I'm sorry, myself included. But if you look at a lot of these names, in first gen, right, blockchain 1, blockchain 2, blockchain 3, right? There's a lot of names in the first gen are still here. Some have disappeared, right? And then I guess if you look at blockchain 1, phase 1, phase 2, some of the founders went to jail. Some of the founders went to jail and came back out already. Some have never been found. A lot of people disappeared, took the money, ran away, and never seen them again, right? It's hard. And then for a lot of people who like crypto, they know these names. For normal people, they have no idea. They don't know what a Galaxy is, right? Maybe they know Binance, right? But OpenSea, who's that, right? Solana, maybe, right? But the good thing is, now blockchain is represented by names they recognize, right? All the major traditional names are here. This will be helpful because, like every technology, you have to start with things that people understand, they feel comfortable, right? And then they will learn more about it. Because I spent a lot of time in Hong Kong. I see China grew up, right? I'm always use this analogy. In early 2000, when you look at China, people say, oh, 1-point-something billion people just got into WTO, a lot of growth, a lot of potential. But what can you invest? Nobody knows. Can you invest? There's not enough audited financials, not enough information. All this mining company, real estate company, consumer company across China, you cannot invest. All they can invest are simple stuff. They're going to invest in PetroChina, China Telecom, China Mobile, and later on, Bank of China, things like that. And it's happening right now in crypto. They are investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, now Hyperliquids, and things that they understand. And they will do stable coins for payment first, something they understand. Tokenized real asset. I turn stocks into tradable tokens. Great, understand. Cash management, deposits, products, right? Gold, right? You're going to start there. And then it'll take another 3 to 5 years before they understand a lot of things that all of you do in crypto. Korea is a community is very, very advanced, right? This is a very, very active crypto native community. A lot of things you do right now, I'm sure you feel like nobody pay attention. It's not trading, right? I used to have $400 million. Now I have $4 million, right? But it will come back. It's a bit like, all these tech companies in 2003 in China, nobody wants them. 4 years later, they are golden, right? Or the NetEase, Tencent of the world, all this, back in 2003, they're nobody. And 20 years later, they're God. They're up 100 times, 200 times. Takes time for people to understand our sector. Be patient, build your business, stay alive. Regulations are coming, institutions are coming, and the connection with the real world is happening. And that's why also a lot of your crypto people who are rich in the past have no bank accounts. All they can do is buy token, buy Bitcoin. Now it's like, oh, I want to buy AI. Oh, SpaceX. Right? It's happening. It's okay. But the good thing is, the traditional institutions are coming. I'll show you how big they are. This. All the crypto people, all the crypto kids are all very happy because when you're 25-year-old, you have $10 million, you're rich. Right? Hey, Bitcoin's over $1 trillion. Our industry is 2.5, 3 trillion. It's nothing. It's small. This is like the basic financial products, right? Equities alone is about 120. Right now, it's more with SpaceX, everything is more like 150 trillion. Bonds, debt is about 300 trillion. Real estate, you go from, depends on what kind of definition, you go from 400 trillion to about 600 trillion. Currency, gold, everything else, right? I mean, to be honest, you want to compare, the rich people on the other side. That's your sugar daddy, right? You want this sugar daddy to come and fund us. Like any industry, any company to grow, you always continue to want money to come in to grow, right? At the moment, it's like, how come you don't understand me? It's okay. We all grew up that way. When you're at home, your mom, your dad never understood you. But who is paying for your school, your clothes, your food, your parents? You do what they want. Grow up first, right? Then when you are big and strong enough, then you try to push your agenda. Because at the moment you're trying to tell your mom that you know better than them, yeah, good luck. Solana, right? Solana is, I like it. I picked it up because I grew up in, my career, basically, I took a ride on the rise of China and a lot of our tech companies. And China and Chinese companies are all about fast, cheap, scalable, right? I mean, we look at yesterday, it was 618. That was a major e-commerce day in China. You're talking about, like tens of millions of transactions happening on Alibaba, JD.com, and on all the e-commerce platforms, right? And Solana is built for high-speed, low-cost transactions. When it comes to payment in the future, trading of stocks, whatever, Solana will win, hands down, right? You could have all sort of solutions right now to cater to a private chain, want to have better, it could meet a regulatory requirement better or privacy whatsoever. But eventually, one thing that's like, why is the Chinese product being bought by everyone globally? It's cheap, quality is high, and you get it fast. Same. You want a chain that allow you to do a lot of high-frequency things in a very efficient way. I mean, in the future, you want to send like $2 to your friend in Singapore. In the past, you will not do it, but with Solana, you can. When AI agents want to pay each other 2 cents, in the past, you can't do it. Now you can. But Solana is going to be a layer that enable all that, right? And one thing that's good about Solana, I pick it to do DAT, it has 6 to 7% yield, right? Bitcoin doesn't have yield. That's why Michael Saylor has to sell Bitcoin to pay for interest of his debt. But with Solana, sitting there, you always make money, right? And then you look at the money they make, right? Solana is a big part of the daily transaction volume. It's got 50% of all transaction across all chain in terms of transaction number. And it has, you can look at DEX, you can look at, RWAs, a lot of numbers, they are a significant part of it. But if you look at the market cap, whatever, it may not be there. But this is important. If all of you have invested in Web 2 companies, in early days, you look at Uber, whatever, they have no revenue. What do they have? Volume, transactions, client flows, right? It's the same with Solana. It's a lot of value here because when you have a lot of transaction and volumes. And it's fastest growing. And then in the past, we always think about Solana. Oh my God, it's all meme coins. All the kids playing around. I know some of you were kids. But now you have all the major financial institutions here: BlackRock, Apollo, Franklin Templeton, Circle, Visa, Master. Everyone's here, right? People recognize the Solana. And Solana's also, in a way, you can see it's growing up, being more mature. They're putting all very senior people, and they will work with people like old folks like me. 3 years ago, they would not work with me. I'm just too old, right? How do I get this? Okay. And again, low cost, and then look at the transaction, per second. It's just killing everyone. And look at its market share in asset issuance, in on-chain transactions. I mean, we are talking about one chain against everyone else in the market, right? And it's still not the largest. It's like top 5, right? Number 4, number 5. And Web2 has become even bigger. And by the way, this is down market. And RWA is one key topic for today. And then one of the most important invention in RWA is stablecoins. And look at the growth in stablecoins on Solana and the transaction volume of Solana. And some of the payment company, we choose Solana to be sometimes exclusive chain for them to use. And then treasury, private equity, stocks, you could think of especially stocks where speed is important, right? There's a lot of high-frequency traders around the world trade stocks. And it could almost be guaranteed anything that has to do with tokenized stocks will be on Solana. And then this is also telling you something. A lot of major firms are paying up to buy time. I mean, a lot of these companies, you ask me, is BVNK worth 1.8 billion? I can tell you as a banker, I know how to value firms. It's not worth that much. Right, but why? Because MasterCard needs to cut time, need to catch up, right? And people are working very hard, very fast, very diligent in the background, right? A lot of, like DTCC, is like the infrastructure. That one's coming, right? And then with DTCC, a lot of assets globally can be tokenized. And I don't think it's announced yet. I'm pretty damn sure that you're going to see Solana on the list, right? And then Morgan Stanley, all this like traditional bulge bracket, like maybe I could tell you like 18 months ago when I went to that, I know some of the CEO, president very well all the way to the top. They're like, nah, we can't do it. And then 6 months later, we're going all in. And then another 6 months, you recommend all the clients to buy crypto, right? This is one thing that's going to happen, and we all know this. I already started telling my kids. I mean, don't bother to go and learn psychology and in Stanford, whatever, and all that's going to be taken over by AI. Your job in the future is to train AI agents. Figure out how to do it. Be the best in it. Those AI agents are going to be making money for you. You might be jobless, right? And AI agents will be on Solana, a lot of them. A lot of activities, payments will be on Solana. Asia, we are here. And one of the things that I'm working very closely with Solana Foundation is that I believe that Solana Foundation's next super cycle starts in Asia. Like any technology, you have to have a lot of people using it. And Asians are the fastest. I mean, you may not realize it. If you go to places like Switzerland, UK, well, God knows, right? They're like 5 years behind. Here, it's like the mums and pop, and then your grandparents will start using, delivery, Uber, everything, fast, right? And then Asians are good in math. There's just more STEM students being produced in this part of the world faster than anyone else, right? And then programmers, whatever's going to be fast, right? And then we already start with, a lot of times Asians start with a lot of new technology. You started like way behind. You had to catch up. We actually started like ahead. 60% of crypto users are in Asia, right? It's just that a lot of these users are still thinking about like speculation, TGE tokens, whatever. But go funnel the money towards building real businesses, right? And One of the things that people don't understand, the reason I think Asia is important, because most of the countries in Asia are export-led countries. They build stuff, they manufacture and send it offshore. And cross-border payments where you're going to see, especially with emerging markets, where it'll come back in stable coins. A lot of Asian companies, whether they like it or not, they'll be receiving a lot of stable coins. Right now, they only have 50 million, 100 million, they're okay, right? They're getting ripped off by BVNK and a lot of these kind of players. They charge them 2-3%, convert it back to fiat, so they don't have to deal with all the counting issues, right? But when it comes to 2 billion, 3 billion, are you going to just get ripped off by another, payment company? No, you have to manage it. You have to have your wallet. And trust me, in 5 years, all the banks will give their clients a wallet. Everyone will know how to deal with, all the auditors will know how to deal with this, right? And so you could see that a lot of Asian companies, trading companies, will be having big inventory of stable coins. And what do they do? If there's a cost to convert back to fiat, they have to manage it. That's why all the smart American, and all smart major financial institutions, bank and asset managers are trying to create products to cash manage this treasury money in crypto. And I think the complicated thing about this sector is that, yes, there's a fundamental, you're building business, using technology, solve problems, you create efficiency, you make money. And at the same time, there are tokens, right? Not only sometimes there are tokens of the company, but also token of the technology they use. Like, for example, a lot of people don't quite understand this. Solana is actually a software protocol. It's something that people build on top. I try to explain to Chinese, listen, you don't understand, it's like Taobao. Taobao is like Alibaba, people build different stores to sell products. Solana, Ethereum, L1s are the same. People build businesses on top, they do their business, and they pay a fee for it. And that's it, right? And so one thing we need to recognize is a software company, it's a tech company. And then you look at it the same way as any other tech companies. Meta, Tencent, user, revenue, valuation, right? So there are two questions. People ask me like, oh, well, I only know Bitcoin. Should I invest in Bitcoin or Solana? What do you think I should do? And my question is very simple, right? One, Solana is, you could, over time, now that you're going to have more and more bulge bracket research analysts giving you advice, looking at the numbers, give you like really more reliable numbers to base your judgment on. And you could actually monitor this over time, right? And if you look at back in 2003, 10% of the population globally are using internet. Today, it's the same. 10% of the population in the world are using blockchain, right? And you're looking at that point in time, what's the gold price in 2003, 4? It's like $400 or $500. Gold price today is about $4,000 or $5,000, so 10x. And at the same time, 10 cents at the time, the market cap was $1 billion. Today, 600 billion. So do you want to invest in gold, or do you want to invest in a tech company over a long period of time? I think the answer is pretty clear, right? So I would spend more time tracking L1s, the real tech companies, right, and actually have fundamentals, and especially those with scale, with brand name, would never disappear. The recent Kakao and they will not disappear because the brand is there, right? And people just use it. It doesn't matter how you try it, you can't kill it, right? I think Solana's the same. You've got scale. 100 years from now, people still know Solana. The other thing that's happening that I'm very happy of, because I was capital markets banker, I run equities, debt, I do a lot of IPOs, I do a lot of trading, right? The best way to fund the growth of a company and industry is always the secondary market, not the PE funds, not the banks, not this rich guy, because they are too slow and they're poor. If you look at a fund, like in our world, a $2 billion fund is big. But in the secondary market, in the major funds, nobody. $10 billion is small. Most of the major funds are $800 billion, $1 trillion, right? And the fastest ways to get money to you, like people that could give you $500 million, $1 billion in a few hours, only the secondary market. So I'm very happy now the equity markets getting connected to token, and also to crypto companies. This is all interacting. Money, with the right time, when I guess at some point, when there's a crash in AI valuation, then you see a lot of liquidity coming this part, to our part of the world. DATs, what are they? Very simple. I mean, I always tell people, most people will not be able to trade spots with wallets. My parents cannot. Even my wife wants to, I would not allow her to. I think she's going to screw up. Right? And for those people to get exposure to major cryptos, the best way is to ETF and to DATs. And if I'm the owner of BlackRock, Fidelity, I would not allow hundreds of PMs having their own wallets, having all this risk in operation. Just buy the stocks. The different ways to get through it, right? I think I sort of talk about different things, but eventually, for you to get access to even RWAs, DeFi, I mean, if you look at tokenization and ETF, they're the same. ETF is sort of wrap stocks around, sell it, right? You could tokenize the ETF, and ETF could also, wrap another bunch of whatever RWAs you want, a basket of it if you want, right? So all this interaction ongoing, different business model will be in place, then that's helpful because there's a lot of liquidity, arbitrage, opportunity. So getting crypto more connected to the world. I said that 8 years ago. To all those people who said we hate the banks, hate the government, I said at some point you have to come back to Earth. And this is Earth, we're connecting, right? DAT, I'll talk about it very quickly since I came from Solana company. And people still ask me, are DATs dead? Because DAT have lost so much money. I mean, including Solana company at the peak, about $2.5 billion. Right now, roughly about $200 million. So, and a lot of DAT have sort of switched course. I'm becoming AI company, I'm becoming shipping finance company. Everyone's doing different things, right? It's not dead. It's a very simple logic. If you have a long-term view on Solana, I can guarantee you the return on Solana company or Solana DATs will be higher in Solana. It's very simple. You will not be able to manage your SOL as efficiently as we do. Our SOL on native yield for last 2 quarters is pretty close to 7%. If you manage it yourself, I'll be surprised that you're above 6 or 6.1. Because we choose the highest yielding stakers globally, they charge almost no fee. You pay 5 to 10% fee. And 2, we do it safely. For you to get any yield from DeFi, you have to send it to somewhere else. It may or may not come back. Most of the time it comes back, right? But we don't send it out. We set out vaults, we do contracts, none of our crypto leaves our vault, we still make the DeFi yield. We have professional traders that know how to deal with selling puts, selling puts, selling calls, do all sort of option trading to generate 15 to 20% yield on a fairly safe basis. With the stock market, you can't. You have to take risks to generate a yield. And on top of that, we can do buy low, sell high. It's hard for you to do. Whenever my stock is below, for example, Solana company, below 0.8 times NAV, I buy the stock back. As soon as they go above 1.2, I sell stock to the market slowly. When it's at 2 times, I do placements. When the market comes back, the premium will swing back. The market's bad is down below 1. Market's good is swing back, right? I'll raise capital. Over a long period of time, I would buy more SOL than you buy it $1. My SOL per share over the last 2 quarters improved 14%. Even in a bad market where most of the time the shares is actually just around 1 times NAV. In a good market, I can improve it even faster. And then, let's not talk about Solana, but this you're familiar with. And most people look at this chart and say, oh, so what, right? MicroStrategy, Bitcoin price, about the same. But if you go back to the same point when it started, even now, MicroStrategy now is down about 70%, 80%. Look at the bottom right. If you bought BTC at the beginning, at the same time, you are 6x. But if you bought MicroStrategy, even today, after it's down 70, 80%, you're up 14x. right? Because over that period of time, they used everything that DAT could do to maximize BTC per shares, right? So it's mathematically, logically, technically, we will achieve a better result. You have a long-term view on Solana. And that's us. And then other than the digital asset treasury, we are doing a whole bunch of stuff that generate cash flow. And we're here to help the Solana ecosystem, especially because I cover most of all your major financial institutions in this country, across 21 countries in APAC, all these major firms, sovereign funds, asset manager used to be my clients. I'm helping Solana Foundation accessing all these major financial institutions, get them to understand blockchain, get them to adopt Solana. That's my job. And that's my presentation. Thank you for your time.